All right, my friends, it's astrology time with Aaron. Happy Sunday fun day to you. It is March 1st, 2020. Woo! We got the March monthly videos up if you haven't checked them out already. So I'll put a link at the end of the video somewhere here. And all right, we got the moon at the later degrees of Taurus, okay, which is exciting because what? Because it's creating a trine over there to Pluto, creating a trine over there to Saturn, okay? We also have Venus right in the middle of Pluto and Saturn. Venus is in Aries, okay, at what, 26 degrees. I'll show you the chart here. At 26 degrees. So she is creating a square in the middle of Pluto and Saturn. All right, so what this is telling us is that there is a new love for our life, for our individuality, okay? There's something that we're falling in love with about ourselves, okay, that is transformational and that is going to stick, okay? So something that we talked about pretty much all year is with all of this Capricorn energy is what? Is creating discipline, self-discipline, right? Picking up new diets, new eating habits, new health and exercise regimens, sticking to a plan. Okay, that's what Capricorn wants us to do. It wants to, find a goal, stick to it, and reach that goal, make it obtainable. So Venus here is all about self-love right now in the sign of Aries. Okay, it's just absolutely self-love, appreciating yourself on your journey wherever you're at. Appreciating what has left in the past, what has come to fruition in your present, and setting a goal for the future, but not worrying about that future, right? That can create anxiety. Thinking about the past creates depression. Thinking about the future creates anxiety. So it's like staying here in the present moment, staying in this now, right? And we still have, some beautiful septiles going on. Oh, my phone's going off. How terrible. We're going with it though. Anyway, so we also have the moon here in the later degrees of Taurus, like I was saying earlier, okay? And that is creating earth trines. Earth trine, moon stable in Taurus, exalted, Mars exalted in Capricorn, earth sign, okay? Now, although those two aren't making a connection right now, they did 2 days ago. Still, both our emotional moon, being exalted and stable Taurus, okay? It's like we're going through a lot of changes and we're able to maintain our emotional rationality, okay? Which is great. There's a lot of change coming our way, and it's just saying, do I really want to do this? Do I really want to stick to this plan? Do I really want to? And part of you is just like, no, I want to go back to, my old diet or my old, lethargicness or laziness. And I mean that, openly. We all have it. We all have where you just want to lay in bed, for extra time in the day, or we all want to just like sit back and watch a movie and just relax. And there's nothing wrong with doing any of those things. But, we're like shifting towards saying, look, if I'm going to spend 2 hours watching a movie, I can easily pick up a book and make that my journey instead and absorb a lot of new knowledge. So the moon is then going to move into Gemini, which is about what? It's about knowledge. It's about information, okay? So it's about absorbing a lot of information and a need to seek out that information, right? So this is a very, very exciting day. The sun, of course, is still in Pisces in the middle degrees. It's only at 11 degrees of Pisces right now, so we're not halfway through yet. Mercury as well, still at 2 degrees of Pisces, still during this retrograde right now. And I've got some friends reaching out to me asking some questions. Now I'll talk about them for a quick moment here during this video. Life goes on, right? Life goes on. And there's a lot of odd buzz about Mercury retrogrades that you have to stop, that you have to, not to travel, not to sign a contract, not to buy a house. I had a friend the other day like, should I not go on this date with this guy? And I'm like, of course you should go on this date with this guy. She's like, well, it's Mercury retrograde, so it means it won't last, right? It's like, well, that's not up to you. That's not up to anyone to determine right now. But the point is to still live life, but it's not rushing into things to where it's just not like, oh, we went on a date and it was amazing and now we're moving in together. I just traveled, in the middle of this Mercury retrograde. I'll share you a fun story with that. On my way back although I downloaded Google Maps, okay, although I downloaded the map to be offline because I was down in Costa Rica, I knew I wouldn't have service. And it was only a 3.5 hour ride from Uvita back up to San Jose and finding the car lot that I rented the car from, okay? My Google Maps didn't work, okay? So we had planned extra time to expect the unexpected, to expect that technology would fail us or that there's delays in travel, okay? What ended up happening, we pulled up, we finally got service when we got closer to San Jose. We pulled up to the car place and it wasn't the right car place. There is no addresses in Costa Rica. I don't know if you've ever been there, but there are no addresses. Their mailing system is wild. You know, it's a beautiful country, but holy smokes, to not have an actual address to physically type in is mind-blowing to me, right? So we pulled up the wrong place. So now it's just like tick-tock, tick-tock. Our plane's either going to leave or we're not going to get this rental car back. One of the two of these things is going to happen. You know, although we padded extra time, okay, we planned for delays. We planned for technology to kind of fail us, as it sometimes happens, right? So we get there and we're just like, all right, I've got to leave the rental car here at the airport. I'm going to call them later and hope it gets out. And we just barely made it to our plane, but we did. Okay, so it's just like certain things are going to happen during this retrograde cycle that delay us, that put us back. Okay, but it's staying focused, and it's not allowing things to be like, oh, you know, and even my buddy and I, one of my best friends in the world, you know, we're trying to navigate through this, and it became frustrating, but yet we maintained a calm composure, which is extremely important during this like confusion times. And he's an IT guy. As soon as he got home, his whole server system crashed at work, and he's on the phone for hours and hours and hours with different tech supports. And it's just like, we can expect some of these things to happen. Now, one of my friends is reaching out about buying a house. I hope you're watching this right now. You know, it's just like, I'm in the middle of the same thing. I'm literally, I just moved into this place, midsummer of last year. I don't know how long you've been following, but I moved, you know, and now things are getting finalized, and it's during this retrograde. So, and it's okay. Life goes on. We must continue to live. We don't just pause for 3 months of the year and do nothing. It's impossible. It's not practical, you know, but what this energy tells us is our planet of communication, information, and technology is closer to Earth. Just like, you know, if your car radio, you're on an FM radio station, you get closer to a tower, you know, you're probably going to get interference. Okay, so this interference, we can expect that interference, but we have to stay focused through it, right? We have to stay focused on what's going on, and we're dealing with the sun as well in Pisces right now, Mercury in Pisces. So we have to use our intuition. We have to use insight. We have to use our internal guidance system, okay, to navigate through this watery, hazy fog. Now, thankfully, Mercury on the 4th, which is in just a couple of days, is going to go back into Aquarius. Okay, I talked about that in the monthly videos, and it'll be there for 12 days, which is kind of nice, right? It's a more favorable sign for Mercury to be in. But we're still here on Sunday. We're still dealing with this, and as this is one of our days off for many people, Saturday when I'm putting this out or into Sunday, you know, we want to wrap things up. We want to make things happen. And the sign of Pisces is about wrapping things up and bringing things to conclusion and endings. So it's completely fine, you know, regardless of what some other astrologers say. I feel very confident. I've been taught by the best in the world that, you know, we have to continue living, but it's just about paying more attention to what we're doing, paying closer attention to what we're signing, paying closer attention, you know, to the body language when we do go on that date, to not put the carriage before the horse and rush into something, rush into living together or marriage right off the gate, you know, because again, our its antenna's closer. Yeah. On the other side, besides the Mercury retrograde stuff, which again is coming to a conclusion here in the next 10 days, okay, yay! You know, this energy, you know, to be noted with Venus squaring Pluto and squaring Saturn right now. It's just like, again, a love for self, being happy with wherever we're at in our lives. If we're not absolutely in love with ourselves and what we're doing in our own lives, that means it's time to change. Right? And that's what Pluto is saying. If you can't look in the mirror and say, I love you, I love myself in a healthy way, then there's something that we need to change, right? Because that's a reflection that we put on the rest of the world. If we're unhappy with parts of ourselves, we will see that part of ourselves, that unhappiness, reflected to everyone else, and we'll find situations to be unhappy with, right? This is very important, and it's very important during this Sun in Pisces, Mercury in Pisces time, to bring that sense to awareness, to bring that to a close. Am I projecting my own, faults or failures or shortcomings on other people? Am I expecting more out of this individual than I would myself? Yeah. I hope not, but we do. We all do at times. And it's natural, and it's part of learning, and it's part of the balance, and part of us growing as individuals. And saying, okay, I have screwed up somewhere in life. I have done something that I was unhappy with. And I can look in the mirror and I can say, what do I need to change about myself? What do I need to tap into if I need to sit here and meditate and just breathe? Just breathe and recognize my own posture. That's the funny thing about meditation too, is it's like sometimes, in Western meditation, it's just like, well, what are you meditating on? You ask that to a Buddhist and they're like, what do you mean? It's just like, I'm not meditating on something. I'm just meditating. I'm here. I'm here with my breath. Meditation means know thyself, loosely. So it's like you're just connecting with your breath, and as you connect with your breath, which is the fuel to your internal fire, right? Venus down there in Aries, fire, love. We find our own imbalances. We see, oh, I'm leaning on the right. I'm leaning on the masculine. I'm leaning on the left. I'm leaning on the feminine. Where are my imbalances? And to go internally, right? Sun in Pisces, go internally. This transition from the moon out of stable Taurus to information Gemini, finding that information within ourselves, because the moon's going to start to square Mercury. I'll show you that here real quick. The moon's going to start to square Mercury. Yeah, hours. Right? Look at that. We'll go back one. Either way, right there. At 6 p.m., the moon will square Mercury. So it's just like there's information that we need to focus on. There's information that we need to bring to an end. We need to go internal to discover this information. This is not coming from an outside source, my friends. This is coming from inside of you, right? Whatever's going on inside of you, you will find what you need to love about yourself. You will create the transformational change, and you will stick to it because you care about you, right? And you're entitled to, and you deserve it. You deserve all the beautiful good things in life, and I know you will get them. All right, have a happy Sunday fun day, and we'll see you tomorrow.